Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another 911 Mythbusters. This time we're going to be taking on what I like to call the small town hero. We've all seen it in movies and TV shows, especially from back in the day, where you get a call at a police station, the police officer themselves answers it and says, "I'm on the way," and hangs up and takes off. Now, that's not the case in most places. And although it may have a little grain of truth there, I'll explain that here in a little bit. In the real world, the person on the end of the line isn't grabbing a gun and heading out to save you or grabbing a medical bag and headed out there to find you themselves. The person on the line now, because we all have different jobs nowadays, is just taking the information that you are giving and giving it out to the responders that need it, whether that's fire, police, EMS, or sometimes even the utility people, because we also have different phones. We have 911, we have the main line. There are agencies that do purely 911 calls, and even the call takers can have their jobs broken down into several pieces as well. It all really depends on the size of the town. So in super large metroplex type areas, you're going to have the call taker, which just takes the call and puts in the information into a call sheet. Then you have the dispatchers, which are going to give out that information to the units that need it. So you'll have dispatchers that are specifically for police, fire, EMS, different types of emergencies, and they take the information that the call taker is typing in that call sheet and giving it to the responders that are on the way. So it can be broken down even further like that versus even just the 911 operator and the responders. Now, in my agency, we're kind of a medium to small agency, so we do take all of the 911 calls and we give the information out over the radio to the responders. The only thing we don't do is medical because that's something that's handled by a separate dispatch agency that has specific medical questions that they gather and ask and have a specific process behind it. But we generally handle all of the 911 calls in our county that come in, and then we transfer them as needed. So, to understand this myth, you have to understand how the public safety answering point works, or the PSAP. And like I said, in most cities, it's going to be a high speed assembly line. You're going to have the person that answers the call, and while they're already taking the call, someone's already being sent out. Now, even in small agencies like mine, where we do everything, generally I'll gather the basic questions of what is your location and do you need police, fire, EMS? I go ahead and get the units on the way, and then I update them as I ask further questions. So a lot of times our callers will hear us going back and forth between asking them questions and updating the officers on the radio. And then you have the field responders, which are the people that are going out and actually handling these emergencies. Now, with every myth, there is a tiny grain of truth. And in super small towns, it is very uncommon now, but in super small towns, sometimes there'll be what some refer to it as like the on call cell phone. Any call that goes into the police department main line will go will be forwarded to an on duty cell phone. For instance, places that are super small, when their police department closes after 5 p.m., people can still call the police department line and it sometimes will be forwarded to a cell phone that the officer has. Now, when I talk small places, I'm talking like this is the only officer on at night and there's only one officer and it gets forwarded to that cell phone. And that's not always the case. Some towns actually do shut down police service if they're small enough at, 5 p.m. or whatever quitting time is for them, and in that case, you would call 911 and it would go to that county agency, which would be able to send either county responders or sometimes even state police to locations to be able to help you out. So there is always help available. It just depends on how it's coming sometimes. But gone are the days of Mayberry where, you know, the sheriff would take a call at the station and go out himself and deal with it. I do also remember sometimes when I worked in EMS, we had a local EMS dispatch, and that's how sometimes I would get my overtime as I'd work in EMS dispatch as well. And there have been times when I've covered for the nighttime dispatcher because they had to go to the restroom or something, and so yeah, I watch the dispatch console and the phones while you go to the restroom, and I end up taking a call. And guess who's going to that call? I'm the only ambulance because the other two are out on transfers. The dispatcher's in the restroom. So I'm gathering all the information and I'm sending myself to the call while I'm texting the dispatcher that went to the restroom, like, hey, better get back because I got to go to a call. And so, yes, I have actually dispatched myself out onto a call before. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just mainly that's not how it works anymore. This is kind of a shorter one. I do apologize for that, but hopefully that gave you some information as to if you're on 911 and you're telling the 911 operator, no, you need to turn right there. You're not actually talking to the person that's out there. So just keep in mind that, hey, the officers at this intersection, they need to take a left at that intersection. Or, the fire truck passed me up. They need to turn around and come back to the house with this, this, and that. And that's a lot of times why we go ahead and ask those questions while we're on the line. Hey, what does your house look like? Is it a brick house? Is it a wood frame house? Is it painted a specific color? Do you have a gate out front? Especially in smaller rural areas like I work in, sometimes being sparsely populated means that every house is going to look different. So it's nice to pick up on those details, especially I love around the holidays because people can give description. Yeah, I'm the one with the blow up snowman in the front yard. Awesome. Then the fire truck or whoever knows exactly what to look for. But again, sorry for the short episode, but that is busted. The person that answering your call is not the one coming out there 99.8% of the time. Now, some general rules to remember when you call 911. I'm going to try and close out all my episodes like this just as a reminder to everybody what to do when you call 911. So that way, maybe if you have to call 911, you're not as flustered and you can get that information to the dispatchers effectively. Always number one, lead with the location. Tell them where you are, the address that you need them at. Again, I've had an episode that explains even if you don't know the address, pick out a landmark that's close to you, and a lot of times they'll know where that is. When I say landmark, I mean like I'm in front of the Walmart. A lot of people don't know your local Walmart's address, so you just have to say, I'm at the Walmart. Or if your town has multiple, hey, I'm at the Walmart off of 10th Street, whatever the case is. Number two, always stay on the line. The dispatchers are going to have a lot of questions, but that's just to help the responders when they get there. So stay on the line and answer those questions and anything they may try and gather. It also helps when you stay on the line if something changes or something escalates, they can know. Number three, trust the silence. If the call taker stops talking for a second, generally we're taught not to create pauses or silence for this reason. But just remember that sometimes they're typing information into a call sheet, or if they're by themselves, they may be relaying that information over the radio to the responders. And they might have just muted you for a second or muted themselves for a second so they can put that information on the radio and then come back and ask you some more questions. So don't think they just forgot about you or that it dropped. If the call dropped, the dispatcher will be calling you back anyway. And as always, when you call 911, remember to dial up those details. We'll see you on the next 911 Mythbusters episode. And remember that if you have anything you want answered, please be sure to put it down in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.